everybody, welcome back to Pixel Junkies.
Oh, hey there.
You're listening to the Pixel Junkies podcast, episode 141.
140, Rory.
140.
This is
I'm
the
one of your
big
hosts, Rory DC.
Why Adam did that
Adam
last
did
week.
it last week, he said 140, and now I'm here saying 141.
Oh, that would have been a funnier idea, is if we just... Because Andrew's like, oh man, you got this big show lined up for next week, and if we just skimmed over 140 and it went straight to 141. Thomas would be like, where's 140? Anyway, we're playing Quake Champions for some reason.
So, I guess, like, depending on the age of our Thomases, what?
Who's here?
Oh, I'm here.
I don't understand your question.
Moving on.
Oh my god. I'm Adam, one of your hosts.
Oh, yeah. That's Sandy. That's Sandy right over there. Right over there. This is our first podcast, episode 1. That's Aaron right here in the middle.
I left
with
that
the
awkward
beer.
on purpose.
You know what we didn't test? If anyone was playing this game.
There are people playing.
Is there?
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Match found, my man.
Yeah.
So this is a multiplayer-only garbage game.
So, for the people in the audience who aren't familiar with Quake,
not the serial,
Unreal Tournament, like these are the essential shooters of the mid '90s, and
back when Alanis Morissette was king.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like
so the only thing computers were capable of then.
Who's this guy?
Something that they're doing again for some
They're
reason.
really cool, fast-paced shooters that emphasize
really
the essence
controls.
of shooters. You don't have
Why
any...
am I playing with
there's
a
no,
box?
you're not calling in any supply drops or Harriers or anything like that. You're just shooting.
Also,
it's
if
really
you
good,
thought
simple.
if you thought Battlefront was obnoxious with its microtransactions and its store and all those little buttons,
the store in this game is particularly obnoxious.
I think Reddit should switch focus to this game because it's fucking abysmal with its interface.
Also, I'm getting a solid 30 frames.
And you thought unlocking Vader was bad? Well, you get fuck all in this game unless you got it off Humble Monthly.
Oh man, Magic!
So they released a new Quake, which is this game.
Having some trouble
and
there.
so Adam's playing it right now.
Did Quake not have a single player ever?
I don't remember because I was playing Unreal Tournament at the time.
I gotta be honest, I don't know why I'm playing this.
Adam's playing this because he hasn't played Quake before.
That guy's got a box for a head.
I played 2 minutes of the tutorial and quit, so now Adam's playing.
Adam's played a fair number of shooters before.
I hope my team wasn't depending on me to carry them.
The controls in this are awful. Anyway.
Alright, I'm down here.
So that's
now.
this game. Nice job, Todd.
And
Pete plays it all the time. It's perfect.
Oh, there's a guy. He.
Yep, this is buckle in, everybody. Adam's playing on the podcast this week.
I've played a few games of this, and I will say I thought it was really good, and it brought me back to some UT memories, which was really nice.
Nostalgia, sure. The controls are really floaty and garbage.
Well, this is what those games feel like.
I know, but
right?
it's garbage. Do it better. 2017, we can do good. Stop mimicking garbage.
So Aaron obviously didn't like Quake back in the day.
No, Quake was okay then because it was all we could do. Stop doing the same thing, though. You can make it good. Like, if I'm playing as a person walking around an environment, I want to feel like a person walking around an environment. Not like a drone. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to feel like I'm a flying thing where when you let off the forward key, your guy's floats to a stop.
Yeah, well, that's why you don't play Quake.
Oh shit! I think you got somebody.
I know, but it should feel like By contrast, Wolfenstein, published by the same people, feels much better. It's a much tighter.
But obviously, for Quake fans, you wouldn't want a game that played like Wolfenstein.
Move on.
Aaron hates this game so much.
I don't hate it. It's super fan service. Like, if you're gonna make this game look super pretty and super nice looking and modern and bring it up to date, bring the controls up to date. Like, there's something to be said for really fluid and tight controls, but it shouldn't sacrifice the aesthetic of the feel of the game. Like, I don't want to be able to run around hallways super fast with really fluid, tight controls if it looks and feels stupid. Anyway, move on.
Adam, you can press space to respawn, by the way.
Anyway. Yeah, so stop bitching about Battlefront. And start bitching about this, because this is multiplayer only. Microtransactions out the anus.
Is it free to play?
Is it? I don't know because
as far as
I don't think
know,
it is.
I don't know. I don't know, to be honest.
I got it off Humble Monthly, so I haven't.
I haven't had much of. Surprisingly, I have not looked into it because of the amount of time I have in my life at the moment.
Quake Champion. Well, it's the same amount you had before.
Well, no, it's not the same amount I had. Well, yeah, actually, it is. I don't have a lot of time at all.
It's a $30 game on Steam, US. So it is not free.
Okay, $30 on Steam, US. Yeah.
So that's probably $35-40 Canadian.
Yeah,
it's got microtransactions.
For the feet, you bastard.
There's one unlocked character, apart from BJ, which we got because it's Humble Monthly thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And everything else is locked. And one weapon is like 1,500 shards. You get 50 with Humble Monthly.
Yes.
So how much, like... why is Battlefront getting all the shit?
Well, it's more popular.
That's gotta be
it's
it,
Star
right?
Wars.
That's Star Wars. That's it.
Wait, that's it.
That's it.
There's no, yeah, there's no. That's definitely it.
But clearly, this game is doing the exact same thing everyone's complaining about Battlefront.
I'm not familiar with the like currency system in this game at all. Like at all, I know nothing about it, so I can't comment.
Fucking die.
Well, it has a balance in. The microtransactions offset the balance of the combat because the weapons are locked behind shards. And
do you buy shards with real money?
And you can buy shards with real money.
Oh, okay, that I didn't know because like I said, I don't know anything about the economy of this game.
So I mean,
that is disappointing.
Where's the Reddit on this one? Anyway, we got other stuff to talk about this week.
Yes, the first one is.
There's a couple of well, this was something from last week that Adam forgot and he wanted to talk about, which was a sort of a teaser. Maybe Adam wants to talk about the teaser.
Oh yeah, Sweat on Wet new Deadpool teaser.
Well, I'll elaborate for Adam.
All right, yeah, tell us about it.
Well, I mean, Bob Ross is kind of pertinent right now, you know, because he's been on. I mean, obviously it's old as shit and he's dead, but he's been on Twitch. They've done that whole marathon thing with him. He has his own 24/7 channel on Twitch, so you can anytime you want, you can just go watch Bob Ross paint shit on Twitch from his old episodes. And I guess that's where this came about. Ryan Reynolds did a teaser of Bob Ross as Deadpool as a teaser for the film. So he's dressed up as Deadpool with like the Bob Ross denim shirt and the fro and everything, and he's doing some painting some trees or whatever. It's called Wet on Wet. I've watched pretty much.
What is Adam going on though?
He's doing some Bob Ross.
Oh, okay,
stuff.
yeah.
He was better known for like Happy Accidents and Happy Little Trees than Wet on Wet, I think.
No, Wet on Wet was the style that he painted in.
But so not all the time.
No, but most of the time. That's what he was most well known for painting.
Yeah,
we got some Bob Ross lore disagreement over here.
I lost.
The most famous thing about Bob Ross, I bet you can ask anybody, is his Happy Accidents. We don't make mistakes. We make happy accidents.
I'm not saying that it isn't.
So why didn't they call the trailer Happy Accidents?
Because
like
Wet on Wet is funnier.
I just wondered if it's copywritten or something like that and they couldn't use it.
Oh yeah, the copyright Bob Ross.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Probably, man. He was a cool dude. Well, he was, I think he was in the military.
That's true.
And, and he, like, with all the shit that he dealt with in the military, he said, fuck this, basically, and I'm just gonna be positive and happy from now on. Because, you know, I don't want to hurt people, I don't want to destroy lives, I want to make lives better. So that's when he started painting and being, like, super overjoyful, positive guy, and that's what he became known for. So he was a cool dude. Seemed like a cool dude anyway. Loved nature.
I don't know how to put this away. There we go.
Loved the kids, you know. Not in that 2017 way. In that modern, wholesome 90s way. Not modern, because that's two different things. But anyway, and what else was old?
Well, I mean, this that Deadpool trailer was. I mean, go watch it. It's really fun. Don't watch the censored version that comes out before Justice League and I'm assuming Thor now. But you know, it's good. It's funny. You don't see actually very little from the movie. You do see a little bit, which is why it's a teaser. But it's mostly just Ryan Reynolds being Deadpool, which is funny.
Yeah, he's got that.
Deadpool.
He's got
I don't
that
know
nailed
what I'm
down.
doing.
I still haven't seen that first movie, but
Oh, you haven't seen the first Deadpool movie's pretty good.
You haven't seen Deadpool?
It's fun.
No,
You haven't seen Deadpool?
No.
How?
It's not MCU, so I didn't care.
Oh man, Aaron.
Yeah.
You and your weird hang-ups.
I mean, that's what it is. I would like Deadpool to be part of the MCU, I think. Because it seems like it's done well enough for it to be...
There is a helicarrier.
There's a what?
There is a helicarrier.
Yeah, but I mean, like, is that just Deadpool being Deadpool, though? You know, it's like Deadpool could acknowledge the MCU in the film, and it's not weird. But not be part of the
I don't know how to switch away from this awful weapon. I'm sorry.
Try the number keys. Scroll wheel.
There.
Use your words.
Anyway, I thought there was something old on this as well. Oh, it is old.
Oh, wait, I'm red team.
While we're talking about Humble, because we're looking at Quake here.
Yeah.
Fairly recently, but also not too recently, Humble was bought by IGN.
And Adam wanted to talk about it.
Yeah, I think.
Well, basically, I just thought it was a very weird purchase because you don't often hear IGN coming up in gaming news, except for the fact that it's usually reporting.
Except delivering, yeah. They only. Yeah.
So I find it very weird that they bought Humble. Like,
does that stand
why?
for anything other than in-game name, or is that where they got it from?
It does stand for something, and I forget what it is.
Take that, magic
It's like
people.
International Game News or something.
It's not that, because that's what I always thought it was. But it actually isn't. So I'm gonna find out.
Maybe internet.
I
News?
got the technology right here.
Rory's got the power.
I almost looked up ING, which is a defunct bank.
It is.
Well, it's now Tangerine.
Yeah, it's now Tangerine, exactly.
I thought it was orange.
So.
Same fruit.
Oh my Jesus.
Imagine Games Network.
Wow, I never would have guessed that.
No one would have guessed that. In your defense.
Wait, what is it? What is it?
Imagine Games Network.
Okay, I'm imagining.
So I guess maybe there's probably they started this Imagine Games thing. They were like, let's make it a network, boys.
I really just thought it was. Oh wow. I really just thought it was in-game name, and they were just journalists. I didn't know it was a network of any kind.
But yeah, so they bought. Humble.
Yep. And for a while there, everyone thought it was going to be going to shit.
I didn't make it.
I don't know why, to be honest, if I'm being truthful.
It hasn't thus far. I guess that's is why it's pertinent to report on it now. It's been a little while. And
it has been a little while. And I don't understand...
Well, the reason we're reporting on it now, don't let us fool you. We're not actually being good journalists. We just forgot.
Yeah, well, that's true. But I never understood why anyone thought that was going to be somehow bad. Like, just because they don't like IGN reviews? Like, I don't understand the...
No, I guess it's you know, there's money to be had there, clearly. And it's a popular, like, Good Samaritan service, maybe, in the industry. It's very, if you don't know what Humble is, it's very, very low-priced games, like super low-priced games.
Yeah.
And a large chunk of the money goes to charity.
That's right.
Generally a charity of your choice.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's the system. And I guess maybe they saw IGN coming in on it, and they thought, we're going to get a piece of this action, get some good PR going, and then ream the system apart by making the games more expensive or taking away some of the charity. I think now, I don't know if this has been confirmed, but I heard that they were either decreasing the charity percentage or there was a potential, I think some people were, I guess it's probably just rumors at this point, but they were like decreasing the charity percentage and taking some of the back end, like rather than a 50% going to charity, it'd be 25 going to charity and 25 going to IGN.
Yeah.
Something like that. I don't know if that's the case. I very much doubt it. That's probably just hearsay, but
hey, we won.
For the most part, it's been good. They did some like free game weekends. I think Brutal Legend was free recently. And there was
man, I have that game.
Brutal Legend's not bad.
Wait, is that the one with
That's
Jack
Jack
Black?
Black.
Oh, all right, I thought.
I think it's is it a double fine game?
I don't know.
I know that.
I haven't played it in like 1,000 years.
Who's the guy at that? Tim Schafer. Tim Schafer worked on it. It might have been his game. And he's a good guy. He's made Costume Quest and Psychonauts and stuff like that. And I mean, I haven't really played all of Tim Schafer's games, but Costume Quest was really good. First one and second one. So that's enough. Enough for good praise from me, but yeah, I think that's fine. Everything looks good, and they still got the Humble monthly deals going. They're all good.
That's right. This month's big free game, I think, was H1Z1.
It is, yeah. And we'll know more about the rest of the games next week.
Yeah, I guess next week we'll probably be talking about it. But yeah, and last month they had. This leads kind of neatly into our next topic, because among Quake champions, the other two big free games last month were Elder Scrolls Legends, and Elder Scrolls Online, which we've had some experiences with on this show.
Yeah, so I guess another also slightly dated thing, but not really a news thing, so we can kind of talk about it anyway. I wanted to wait until Rory was back on. But we played Elder Scrolls Online recently.
Yeah.
We probably mentioned
me, Aaron, and Andrew.
Yeah. That's some suicide there, Adam. It's not good.
This is interesting because it isn't.
It's not good for reasons you wouldn't expect, I think. In an MMO.
It's the reasons. So I had heard that they had really improved it. So I was like, sweet.
Yeah, it's been out for what, 2 years now?
Yeah, sweet. That means they fixed the combat? No, they didn't fix the combat.
There's worse problems. It's as far as a game goes, it's an okay atmosphere. It's an okay control-wise game.
It looks good.
It looks good. The gameplay's not bad.
Yeah.
I mean, the dialogue, some of it's not great. Also, not all of it is voiced. But the biggest problem with it is it's an MMO. Like, and this is, so an MMO, you expect it's a big multiplayer game. You want to get your buddies in there. You want to get together and pound out some quests in the Elder Scrolls world. It seems really appealing. I mean, that
seems like a great idea, right?
But the problem with the game is the quests don't sync. I guess is the right word.
So if I'm doing a quest and Aaron's with me, like the system for us doing the quest together is garbage because he has to do all the same stuff I have to do.
We have to complete the objectives separately.
Yeah.
Independently of one another. And so it's stupid, but it's okay in the starter world or wherever, starter beginning. But then after we left the starter region, we played for what, like 2 hours after that? An hour maybe?
The shit totally hits the fan.
And I didn't see either Rory or Andrew for that entire time because we were all doing different quest objectives.
Yeah, it was really weird.
It's so stupid. And the bulk of the quests are literally like, talk to guy, take thing, bring back to other guy, talk to him, take thing to another guy. And it's like,
we have to sync up periodically. We have to be like, alright, I'm just going to wait for you now.
Yeah, and randomly on occasion, sometimes quest objectives would complete when somebody else completed them.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't notify you that it was done. So me and Andrew and Rory, well, me and Andrew primarily, because there was a spot where we had to go into a room and kill a guy. You had to get a key to get into the room. And then, so me and Andrew got the key, got into the room. Rory was still looking for the key because we all had to do the objective separately. While we were in the room, a group of players killed the guy and completed the objective for me and Andrew.
Yeah.
I might have hit him a couple times because I thought I saw Andrew run in. I figured you were with him.
Jesus.
Sure, yeah.
So then when Andrew's like, Rory's not here, I stopped. The quest completed, so we're like, okay. And then we went back out. You were still looking for the key for like another 10 minutes until you realized the objective had been completed and you couldn't find the key because it was done.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And so I was like, well, okay. And it's weird because, like, that's just a dumb system, and apparently it's not an accident. Like, I don't know why they did it intentionally, but they did. And it really bummed me out because the whole point of us doing that was it was like, alright, we get a game we can play together. Except you can't, for some reason.
You really can't. I think the reason is they didn't want people getting into a group and then pounding out different quests.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm doing one quest, you're doing another quest, and then you're basically farming XP at that point.
Exactly, yeah.
The way they could resolve this is have a party leader, and the party leader selects the quest.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
Like, it was really disappointing to me because when I was playing, like, I remember a year ago, me and my friend Devin were playing co-op Divinity. And it was perfect. It was like we had the same dialogue. Like, he would have some, like, when a character was speaking.
Divinity 1?
Yeah. Sometimes they would speak to him, and sometimes they would speak to me.
Yeah.
And we would get to choose.
The Old
and have
Republic
deep
does
role
that
play.
as well.
Yeah.
Which is a game we should all play together.
I agree.
It's good.
I'm totally down for that. And it's,
I like that system a lot, actually. The way it does, I don't know how Divinity works, but it's basically, like, it just rolls a die and who's going... Like, you both select a response. Some guy will say, like, what do you think of this scenario? And then you both select you both get your, like, dialogue trees, depending on your character. You both select an option, and then it rolls a die and says, you get to say something.
Right,
and then, so then you get really, like, dynamic conversations. The dice roll is a bit stupid, but it's a good way of remedying like who talks, you know, because
Sure, yeah.
Stop moving around.
So it's cool because it kind of lets the conversation branch a bit. Maybe some guys being like a nice guy, maybe the other players being a bit of a like a bad
That's exactly
motivated
right.
character. So then you get really mixed up conversations.
You get actual role playing.
Yeah.
And that's something that's shockingly rare even in role playing games sometimes. The Fallout.
There's other problems with the Old Republic, but as a role playing game, it's okay. I wish they had private servers or something, like maybe limited servers. You know,
right? Yeah.
Because the problem with it is just you start a character in a region, and that's the starting region for a specific class.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the type of characters that are there. If you're a Jedi, there's thousands of Jedi running around.
Yeah.
And you don't feel special. When in like a narrative where why is that guy doing kickflips?
He's cool surfer.
Tony Hawk character or something.
Tony Hawk's the guest character.
And in a narrative that tries to make you the main character, it's a little bit stupid. That it's like you're not special at all, even though the game treats you as you're special.
Yeah,
Especially
also,
like when you run into a room and it's like, yeah, you're the only person who complete this quest, and there's
it's like 15 people.
yeah.
Also, at the very beginning of the game, me and Andrew got locked into fighting each other, and it was the dumbest thing ever for about 15 minutes. Us trying to figure out how to get out of it. It was like, enter practice combat mode. And we're like, yeah, sick, practice combat. And after a couple seconds, we realized that your health regenerates after every hit, and so this practice combat thing is totally useless. We're like, alright, fuck this, let's back out of it. And we couldn't find a way to back out of it. So Andrew had to continually hit me very fast, faster than my health was regenerating, for us to exit the combat.
Why not?
And it took forever.
What they should just do is have like a PvP box.
Yeah, exactly.
In your settings, you say, would you like to be able to PvP? And then you say yes.
Yeah, exactly.
And then anybody can come up to you and you can fight and steal their shit, you know?
Sure,
it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
It adds a different level of danger or something to the game. Maybe you get more XP for playing in PvP mode.
Oh, that was lava.
It feels like a game that's
That one
technically very good in terms of its graphics, but like no one designing it thought about it first somehow.
Yeah, it's...
Like, there's a lot of good things about it, which I think what makes it disappointing that there's so many bad things about it. But also, Justice League. Me and Adam have both seen Justice League now.
Yeah.
I haven't. Sandy hasn't. I don't think. Yeah.
And so, Adam, did the person you were seeing it with, were they a comic book fan? Like
They're a fan of like that kind of movie.
Okay, yeah.
He's so fast.
That's one of established. Actually.
So,
I think that's
okay,
what- yeah.
so, without getting into spoilers
I'm
yet,
sensing a pay-to-win character here.
Ow. I don't know. I've only really seen, in terms of superhero movies, I've only seen Marvel films. Call me a
sure.
Marvel fanboy
Yeah.
if you want.
I
How does
won't.
it
That's
compare?
ridiculous.
How does it compare Marvel-wise?
Okay.
It is not as good as Avengers.
The first one?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
So how does it compare Marvel? Well, it attempts for DC characters some of the same things that Marvel's first Avengers attempted for Marvel characters. If that makes sense.
I guess except with... Well, Flash has had a movie, he's had a show, but it's not the same continuity.
There's
And
less source material.
I don't know who Cyborg or whatever his name
fuck.
is.
There's definitely less source material in
Yeah.
terms of like directly this universe.
Well,
source
yeah,
material.
less lead up
The-
for sure. I mean, we've had Iron Man 1 and 2, I think.
What I mean is that
Thor.
like scenes in the
Captain
Avengers,
America.
like the scene, like the inter-character scenes where you
Yeah.
get a sense of the characters' interactions.
Yeah.
This goes for some of that, right? So it goes for
Does it feel like it's copied?
no, it doesn't feel like
Okay.
it's copied. There's a couple moments where you're like, that's an Avengers plotline or that's an MCU plotline. But it doesn't. To me, it doesn't feel copied. It still feels like a movie set in the universe it's set in. The thing that Justice League does that's kind of surprising is that it tries to address a lot of the concerns about DCEU movies. A lot of people criticize,
And it kind of does that with some of them.
and I think it actually does. Like a lot of people criticize that a lot of characters didn't feel
What's the E for?
like what
What's the E for?
extended.
Why is it extended?
Because they couldn't do cinematic.
But extended, like, extended to me is like the stuff in Star Wars is not canon anymore. You know? Like
Oh, I kind of see what you're saying. No, different use of the word extended. A less accurate use of the word extended.
Telescopic universe.
So, like, for instance, like, one of the criticisms is that a lot of the characters show up and don't get, like, backstory or motivation. That's totally fixed here. That's one thing that they fixed.
So we know where Cyborg comes from.
Yes, and he has, like, his own, like, we could tell there's his own story and his own lead-up. And they do, despite the fact that the movie's only 2 hours.
Isn't there, like, a 3.5 hour edit or something of it?
There should be, because actually, ironically, one of the concerns they tried to address is people said Batman vs. Superman was too long. So they tried to address that by making it shorter. But actually, one of the drawbacks of this movie is that it's shorter.
Does a disservice to the film.
Is that they miss a couple things that they would have had in the extended cut.
I feel like you can have, like, you know, in your Marvels, in your DCs, Justice League and the Avengers are the event films. They're the reason why you go watch the other movies.
Yeah.
You can have that movie be 3 hours long. I hope Infinity War is 3 hours long.
I agree 100%.
You have so many characters. Infinity War is kind of a separate entity because it doesn't have 4 superheroes and it has like 80.
Right, yeah.
But you have so much stuff in those movies, especially with all those characters, you would think that apart from the main plot line where they're fighting a bad guy, they have all these other little plot lines that kind of build up like the bonding between all these characters.
Yes.
And you can't have like, you know, 4-on-4 moments. You got to have 1-on-1 moments sometimes. So, and
this works on that. This is one of the things. So this movie, one of the things in terms of its receptions, it's had the typical DCEU thing where it's like this movie has like a 40% on Rotten Tomatoes and an 84% audience score. It's
I thought that was weird.
Giant ass differential. But the same thing happened with Batman vs Superman because the critics all saw the theatrical cut and the fans all saw the director's cut. Right? But at least I think that had a lot to do with it.
But here's the thing. I mean, this film has problem. At least the version I saw. I don't know what version it was. Which is
we're talking about Justice League.
Yeah.
Okay. There's one big problem that Adam and I both agree on. And we can't spoil because it's a spoiler.
There's multiple versions.
No, Adam's just saying that
it's you know what it is. When you know what it is, I hope that is not going to be too big a problem going forward.
Right, yeah. It probably won't.
Isn't Ben Affleck not doing Batman now, though?
There's a debate with that. They said that the last time, too.
No, but, it wasn't necessarily the last time. I think that, like, he signed on for so many movies and he was really unhappy about doing it, but he's going to do them, and then he's done.
I can't keep track. Until it's actually clear whether he's doing it or not doing it. I will... there is one sort of glaring problem that we can't talk about. One thing I will say is, after you see the movie...
That Superman comes back again and dies again for real this time. That's what happens, I bet.
It isn't, but the...
Or he's lying. NDA.
So the thing about this movie, one of the things I didn't like going in was I thought the trailer was really bad because it showcased too much of the movie. That's not true. I was wrong about that.
I mean, yeah, doesn't do that. I will say the fight scenes are pretty good.
There
are some. I mean, it's very obvious that that halfway through they got a different director to come in because you can see Zack Snyder's entirely dour film in there, and then every now and again some character says a witty one-liner, so you can see the Joss Whedon.
But you know what I like?
Zack Snyder relies way too much on that goddamn like slow-mo shit in this movie, like where like Wonder Woman will be cutting into a dude, and it'll be like, whooshing, and it'll slow down for like a minute and 30 seconds. You'll be like, come on with this. And you hear Zack Snyder in the background going,
I agree, the fight scenes are good.
Wait, now, you just got an achievement. Was that for waiting like 18 minutes to get into a game?
Yeah. What else? Yeah, like, so, I like I say, I'm dodging the... Suffice to say, there's one big problem. We can't talk about it, but
there you go. Take them off the stands and be playing it.
They did it. Yeah, I was surprised at how good. I wasn't surprised. I was pleased with how good a job they did of the different characters.
Okay.
A lot of people find the Flash to be annoying. He was a little bit extra, but that's the Flash.
Even in interviews for the film, he seemed annoying.
But Barry Allen is annoying.
Oh.
Like, it's Sandy, yeah, you're familiar with the character a bit. Barry Allen is annoying, right? Yeah.
But, I mean, there's like...
He doesn't have to be.
There's got to be like
the Flash isn't annoying in the comics.
There's got to be
There's a lot of incarnations where Flash has been a little bit annoying. There's been a lot
of incarnations where Green Lantern's an asshole. It doesn't mean he has to be written like an asshole.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it's a totally legitimate choice to portray him that way.
There's got to be a charming annoying, though.
And I don't think he's that bad. I think think his
he isn't. No.
I think his like quirks have been overplayed.
I don't know, Marvel equivalent. Like Captain America is really stubborn and set in his ways, but he's still charming about it. He's not aggravating. You know what I mean?
I understand.
Like there's got to be a way to make a character annoying, but kind of like jovially.
Nudge at it a little bit. I see what you're saying.
Be like, don't make him actually annoying.
I don't think he is. I think he's been over. I think one thing I will say that I was telling Adam this because we were complaining about the big problem in the movie, and one thing I say it's pretty frustrating that every time you mention a flaw about Justice League, someone freaks out and calls you a hater, and every time you mention something good, someone calls you a fanboy. And I found the exact same thing. I was telling you guys the other day. I found the exact same thing with Rogue One. I didn't think Rogue One was a perfect movie. There were things about it which I didn't like, but I liked Rogue One. I enjoyed Rogue One a lot.
I mean, that's the thing to do now, though. It's like people say Force Awakens is the same as Episode 4. I mean, Episode 1 is the same as Episode 4.
Yeah, exactly.
Really, if you break it down to the very basics of the plot, they're the same. But I mean...
Correct me if I'm wrong, that's also intentional, right? It should be that way. It's the point of Star Wars.
There's definitely a little bit of what do you call it, juxtaposition or, there's a lot of parallels. There's a lot of parallels there on purpose. It's also the safe way of going because, the audience likes that type of film.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I mean, if you break down the story to its basic elements, every story becomes the same. Every story is good versus evil. Yeah. It's like, what are the three conflicts that you can have? It's like man versus man, man versus nature, man versus self. Every single movie ever is that.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, oh man, this movie is the same as Marley and Me. It's like, yeah, okay, but I mean, really though, in Marley and Me, they don't go to space.
I'm hoping that Moby Dick is man versus whale. So
but that's man versus nature.
Yeah, that is man versus nature. And man versus self.
Yeah, man, it's got all kinds.
There's a whole lot of Gregory Peck versus Gregory Peck in that movie. Dear God.
Thanks, Ron Howard, for that.
Ron Howard.
He made Moby Dick, didn't he?
What the? When he was like negative 15 years old.
No, the new Moby Dick.
Oh, I didn't see the new
sea.
I don't know. I saw a trailer for it like 2 years ago.
I made it halfway through that movie.
Oh. Holy shit! Nice. I found the match.
Join it before it's too many.
So
anyway.
Yeah.
Rogue One, all these movies are the same. I mean, how many conflicts can you have in Star Wars? It's the Rebels versus the Empire.
I like that about Star Wars.
Resistance versus the First Order. It's the same.
Or the writers versus Lucas.
I mean, even that, or even Reddit versus EA. It's the same fucking thing.
Yeah. But yeah, it was. So I want to clarify this. I am a DC fan for what that's worth. I'm not going to run away from that.
Fanboy, get the fuck out.
The only DCEU movie I didn't like was Man of Steel.
Which I actually preferred to
I haven't seen any of
Suicide Squad because Suicide Squad is garbage.
So Adam doesn't like Suicide Squad. There we go.
Rory likes Suicide Squad, but also likes the prequels of Star Wars.
I also like the prequels of Star Wars.
I found the prequels
which is a shame because of these things, I often get associated with like unpopular opinions when I agree with the majority almost all the time.
Good job setting us in a map that's on.
Episode 2 might be the worst film I've ever seen.
What?
Episode 2.
It's my least favorite prequel.
Really? Aaron, you sat through all of Transformers 4. I know, I was there with you.
Ninja Turtles is worse than Transformers 4.
No, it's not.
It is.
I haven't seen Transformers 4. Let's say Ninja Turtles pretty rocky stuff. I guess.
I would have walked out of that movie had I driven to the theater.
Yeah, Ninja Turtles was bad.
And I've never walked out on a movie.
I only walked out on one movie. I was sitting in the very front row of the Bourne Supremacy, and I walked out and threw up.
Oh, yeah, well, that's different.
Do not sit in the front row of a Matt Damon movie. You're never going to make it out alive.
You got killed by Channing Tatum from Sky Atlas. Or what was that movie?
Jupiter Ascending. Yeah, with
Channing
Tatum and Mila Kunis. Which you saw in theaters, as I recall, with Adam.
Yep.
Right?
And not as bad as Ninja Turtles.
Jupiter Ascending, you remember it?
No, not as bad as Ninja Turtles, and Ninja Turtles is not as bad as Transformers 4.
I'll watch Transformers 4 to be sure. but Ninja Turtles was pretty bad.
So you're saying Ninja Turtles?
I'm not saying Ninja Turtles is good.
Yeah, you're saying
I'm saying
Transformers 4 is worse.
If Ninja Turtles is 99 out of 100 bad, then Transformers is 100 out of 100 bad.
Well, I will say I really hate Transformers, so I probably will agree with you.
Let me clarify then. If Ninja Turtles might have been close to the source material, if that is the case,
am I only supposed
the
to be
source material is fucking bad. So there you go. Might have been a good Ninja Turtles movie. It was a bad movie though.
Right. Yeah. And the Transformers movies are definitely bad Transformers movies.
Yeah, they're not really anything. They're just 3 hours of Peter. What's his name? Peter Quill. No, that's Star-Lord.
Yeah. Peter Quill is Star-Lord. Who are you?
Star-Lord, man.
Who's who? Who's Optimus Prime?
Peter Cullen.
Peter Cullen. There you go. That's the same as Quill.
The,
it's just 2 hours of him talking, and 2 hours of Peter Cullen.
Oh my god.
You can't hear it though because it's Transformers and the sound editing is garbage.
Oh, I will say
Decent
this movie,
Good
Justice
soundtrack.
League, had the worst sound editing I've ever seen in a film outside of one of the Transformers films.
Justice
There were
League?
parts where it'd be like Wonder Woman would be like, "We have to hope that we can live and beat," blah, 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 and then you wouldn't hear because then the music would start sweeping, doing some epic thing, or there'd be some fucking explosion going on in the background and completely drown her out.
Okay, I will say.
So I miss key bits of dialogue and exposition for that
I'm
fucking
gonna listen
movie.
to this. I gotta listen to this movie with headphones because I didn't notice that, but maybe I'll notice it with headphones on.
I don't think you will notice it with headphones. I feel
Maybe
like
it's because I was sitting
with
right next to
headphones?
in the
No.
theater. I was sitting right next to the speaker, so maybe it was that.
Yeah,
but
I
hard,
didn't notice it. I'll say that.
But I had like more than any other movie because there was a few times I was like, I cannot understand. I lost what you were saying here.
Interesting. Okay, I'll have to go back and watch it
find
again,
with
which
headphones. I find with headphones the audio kind of levels out. Loud and quiet stuff kind of find a medium.
And also, when they were mixing it, they mixed it.
Like
of course, with
I
headphones,
edit
so.
lots of videos, and every time I edit one, when I'm finished editing it, I unplug the headphones and listen to it through the speakers because I can't tell if Adam's audio track is 10 times louder than mine until I'm listening to it with the speakers.
Right? Yeah.
And so I mean, I try to balance it as best I can, but with headphones, it's really difficult.
So what I really want from Justice League next is a director's cut. Because
Some 4-hour version.
well, it's probably gonna be like a 3.5 hour version or something like that. But I'd like to.
Go away, get away from me.
It's got to be difficult to be DC at this point, though, because I feel like people are going to complain about it either way. 2-hour movie, too short. 3.5 hour movie, way too long.
I mean, I think it's definitely tough to be DC, but I do like they definitely are working on some of the concerns. That's what I took away from Justice League more than anything else.
It's interesting to cut an entire movie out of your movie, though.
I mean, it's obviously not working as far as the critical reception goes. Like they've got no further along.
Yeah.
I understand why, because a lot of filmmakers are frustrated with Rotten Tomatoes because they have the same drawbacks as any number scoring system. They're a TLDR of film criticism.
Yeah.
But which bothers some people. Of course, Sharknado has an 80% on Rotten Tomatoes.
But I mean, the draw to Marvel is the characters. It's like it's Iron Man, it's Thor, it's Captain America, and it's all those kind of working together. It's their. I mean, it's those gelling. Like the villains haven't. If I'm being honest with Marvel, the villains haven't been stellar most of the time. Hela was an exception. She was actually a really good villain. I think they did her well. And she kind of like...
Kate Blanchett helps a lot, of course.
It obviously, I mean, shy of Thanos, the villains only have one movie to be like, here's who I am, and here's how I was created. And
I think they've been getting better, though, on average.
They are.
Because, I mean, like, the
that.
first set of Marvel villains were just awful. But, like, this year we've gotten a bunch of really good ones. I mean, like, we had Hela. She was great.
Great. I mean,
we had Vulture in Spider-Man. He was great. We had Peter Quill's father, Ego, in Guardians. He was great. And we also had, I forget his name, the guy from Civil War, the Colonel.
Zemo.
Thank you, Sandy.
You forget his name. He was Nicky Lauda in the Rush movie, though.
Yeah, that's right.
He's a good actor.
Brula?
Something might have been, I don't know.
The newest Marvel villains are the best Marvel villains. And one thing as well that Marvel, the MCU had that the DCEU, did not have is Iron Man 1, which everyone saw. And so everyone already, you get, like, you lock onto investment right away in people, because it's like, everyone saw, you see that movie, as soon as you see that movie, you get the Iron Man character, and you get the way Robert Downey Jr. plays him, and you can reliably see tons of him in any, like, Avengers movie.
Zemo was a good villain because he wasn't really a villain.
No, yeah.
He was just a guy.
That's exactly, I agree with that.
Like, he might be the best Marvel villain because of that. He's not a guy with any power. He's not like a guy in any political position. He doesn't have money.
He's not ending the world.
It's
about ripping the team apart by turning them on each other.
So this is, I like what you said about not ending the world, because in my opinion, the strongest Marvel movies are the ones that have sometimes like less stakes.
Yeah.
Like the.
But at the same time, it's like the most important one, because if you turn Tony and Steve Rogers against each other, it's like...
Oh, that's obviously, like, terrible. But, I mean, less immediate stakes. Like, world's not ending right away. Like, one of my favorite MCU movies is Ant-Man. And it's because the scale is small. And
it's a very aside story, very much.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And it's like, it's just a tight little concise story. It's definitely in the MCU, you can tell. But it doesn't, like...
Like Spider-Man
like
had a similar thing, right?
Yeah, actually. I agree with that 100%. Yeah, Spider-Man was a cool. I'm a little tired of seeing Michael Keaton with wings, if I'm being honest with you. Because like, it's a joke in Birdman. In fact, I would say it's half the movie in Birdman is that joke.
He flies at the end, but you don't get to see it.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
God, that movie.
Emma Stone is like, this is her final shot of the film. Is just her going, looking into the sky. That's it. She kisses Ed Norton. I bet he's like reading the script and be like, "Fuck yeah."
You just made Ed Norton sound so creepy.
He totally did.
I always found it funny that Joseph Gordon-Levitt wrote a movie where he played a sex addict and he starred Scarlett Johansson as the female lead.
That's I gotta say, for a first director's job, he did pretty well in that chair.
Did he get to hump Scarlett Johansson?
Yes,
actually,
he did.
Yes.
Well, totally on purpose.
Like is he planning on directing any other movies? Does anyone know?
He just wanted to hump Scarlett Johansson. This is what happened. Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Seth Rogen or whoever his buddies are hanging out in the basement smoking weed, and then Seth Rogen's like, "I dare you to hump Scarlett Johansson," and he's like, "Deal."
Why did you group Joseph
I don't
Gordon-Levitt
know.
with Seth Rogen?
Well, who does he hang out with? Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis tells him, "Hump Scarlett Johansson. I'll give you $50." And then he spends the next 2 years writing a script, getting a production studio, getting the movie made, manages to actually luck into casting Scarlett Johansson and does it. And then at the end, as red carpet premiere, Bruce Willis like pops him a 50, and then you're like, "There you go. I told you I could do it. I did it like 18 times because I kept fucking the takeoff on purpose." That's what happened. Inside story, inside Hollywood, right there.
Inside Hollywood tonight.
Yeah. And Scarlett Johansson was like, "I knew, but I was dared by Emma Stone to hump Joseph Gordon-Levitt for $50, and there you go. I didn't even have to do anything. He did it all for me."
I really like Joseph Gordon-Levitt. He's a good actor. He's been good in a bunch. I really liked him in Inception.
His earlobes are attached to his head.
A lot of people have that.
Yeah, but Bruce Willis doesn't. Or just detached.
Yeah, well, I just don't.
I only noticed that because in Looper, his earlobes are different, and there's scenes where they're both in the same shot together, and so your ears are different, so you can't really be the same guy. Anyway, they did like so many prosthetics to make Joseph Gordon-Levitt look like Bruce Willis, but the ears are very obvious. Too. Anyway, what else we got on here? Adam had some Battlefront thoughts.
Oh yeah, Adam's got some thoughts.
So. Oh, okay. The game crash.
I can't.
Okay.
I can't play this anymore.
Okay, well, play
I
something else.
I can't. All right, that's fine. We'll do this.
Saints, it's not installed though. Play Simple Planes or something.
Play something that has a highlighted
Simple
thing.
Planes.
There you go. Play that.
Yeah, there we go. Fine. Fine.
So.
Okay, so here's my thoughts on Battlefront. The single player, I've beaten the single player. It's light on story. A lot of the stuff.
Okay, so this is a single player.
Yes, my thoughts on single player about the single player.
Is he recording?
I wasn't. Yeah, it should be fine. I wasn't paying attention. I was just making sure the game was.
Okay, Adam, your thoughts on single player?
So my thoughts. It's very light on story. I forgot.
This is our plane from that special. Go watch that if you want to see how we made this fucking thing.
All right, let's just fly this. It's not even level.
I don't know what the controls are, so good luck.
Jesus
I'm glad you
Christ.
suggested he plays
It's
single.
got the front
It was
window
on the
open.
screen. Yeah, you fucked the front
Yeah,
window
you
up as well.
Go.
Maybe don't play this game.
Maybe don't play this.
Maybe
game.
play Planet Coaster like you wanted to.
Play Oblivion.
It's not installed, Rory, and we've already done like 200 videos on Oblivion. It's somewhere there, down to P. Just hit P on the keyboard.
No, I saw something here.
None of those are installed. Anyway, this is just Adam browsing. Alright, well, you want to install balance? What is that?
This is installed.
Is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
play it.
Alright. You play with a mouse and keyboard. I don't know how that's going to work.
Oh Jesus, no.
Alright, well, extended podcast because Adam's browsing Steam.
Is Skyrim? Oh wait, yeah, we were doing this thing in
No.
Skyrim.
It's not.
Catalyst is just a shortcut. Play,
Play Just Cause 2.
we've already done that for a podcast fairly recently. There you go, play that.
All right, so here are my thoughts on the Star
Battlefront
Wars
single
Battlefront single player.
Light on story?
It's light on story. A lot of the problems I have with the game in terms of its plot, because there's a couple of big plot holes in the game, are fixed by reading the wiki. They're not fixed in terms of, like, they're fixed in universe, but they're not. They don't fix the fact that it's kind of a shitty story that the Star Wars universe as a whole has taken. And I don't know. It's just this game needed to be probably closer to 15 hours, and it just needed an expansion of character, because there's some really great character moments in here, but the game doesn't earn them. So I don't know. It's just,
So you didn't like it?
I'm not saying I didn't like it. I'm just saying it's not. Jesus, what happened?
I
here?
left a mess for you, sorry. I was playing it in VR. Yes, this game is VR. I totally agree with Adam. I have also finished the single player. I don't know
thought
if
that was a table.
I don't know if I had finished it last week or not, but anyway, yeah, I totally agree. The story is there. They're just very sort of light on detail. I feel like that's for a reason, but maybe stupid. I think the main reason is they don't want the big, and it's totally Disney. I'm sure Disney gave them, like, DICE went to Disney and they said, what storyline can we do? Like, what do we have access to make a game? And Disney said, well, there's this topic. We're probably not going to be doing a movie on this. There's this. They'll probably give them a whole booklet of shit that they could do something on. And they decided on the game. Maybe it's a good idea to do the story between episode 6 and episode 7.
How do I get ready?
Hit escape, maybe? I don't know. There's gonna be something. I don't know. Whatever. Just turn on the Xbox. Whatever. I'll get the app. God damn it, Adam.
Well, it's not. Oh, okay, there we go. I had to get like no.
You had to click no.
No, I had to let go of the thing I was currently holding.
Oh, okay.
There's an Xbox.
Nice simple controls. All right.
Ooh.
Anyway, so they decided on the
They
story
expanded
between
this.
episode 6. They did, yep, and episode 7 because there's probably 20 years between those films, 15, 20 years. And so there's a lot of stuff there, like, you know, how did the First Order come to be? How did the Resistance sort of come to be? How did they sort of change their identities? And they acknowledge that in the game. This is like the fall of the Empire, with something called Operation Cinder, but they're very sort of light on detail about it. And I feel like it's because
here's Operation Cinder. Operation Cinder, spoiler alert, is the Empire destroying itself because Palpatine. When
I mean,
he
it's
died,
not really if you've seen episode 7 though, because you know the Empire's not around.
Well, it's the First Order, but Operation Cinder is Palpatine taking his ball and going home, because as he says it in chess, if the king is destroyed, then there is no point in in playing. The king is the only piece. So Palpatine views
Well,
himself
and
as
if the king is destroyed in chess, you can't play anymore.
Yeah, that's
because
what I'm
the
saying.
game is over.
There's no other point for all the other pieces. So he's saying, as the king, if I go,
He's saying burn
there's
it
no
to the
point for
ground.
the Empire.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So he's saying burn it to the ground. The characters, even in the Empire, don't know this in the game. They like it's kind of revealed through a messenger, a droid, if you will, that says like, here's the specifics on Operation Cinder that you're I don't know allowed to know, whatever the like classifications and restrictions in military and all that stuff are. What do you call it? Like classified stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Adam has the keyboard and the Xbox controller going at the same time, so nice work.
Adam, why are you able to go down?
I don't know. It won't let me.
Because you have the keyboard and mouse controls also on the screen.
It does, Aaron.
Just
it's
start
not
a level.
letting me go down.
This just start a level. This is the hub area. Oh my Jesus! There you go. Anyway, so I forgot what I was talking about. But the characters in the game don't know what Operation Cinder is. They kind of figure out what it is eventually, and they definitely allude to the fact that this is what it is in the game during the Battle of Jakku, and it's like the Empire is crumbling at the seams, and everybody's like, "Oh God, what's happening?" You get the idea then that like, okay, this Operation Cinder was to burn it to the ground. There really was no motivation or hidden agenda here. It's just burn it to the ground. And then the characters start to realize that, and there's a lot, like Adam's saying, a lot of cool character moments that it's not really deserved of because they kind of come out of nowhere. But I feel like they're left out on purpose because if at some point Disney decides to do a film about Operation Cinder or something there in between, they can flesh out the details and not have to worry about contradicting established lore at that point because there's a lot left open.
Yeah, I see. I have such a weird relationship with the new Star Wars canon because, like, I really miss the old. Like, you never, at no point were you playing KOTOR, and you're like, "Oh, I wish they could have made the game about this because there was this thing they had to work around." You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean that's totally a problem with Disney and that sort of MCU idea, I guess, ideology at this point, where it's like everything needs to fit together perfectly. And get rid of the... Because I mean, you know, the extended universe prior to Disney throwing it all out wasn't free of contradiction in some cases, where books would contradict comics, contradict games, that sort of thing. I don't know how Adam has made this game impossible to play, but he's found a way.
See, the issue is
simultaneously clicking back and apply.
But what it is that Adam he's using the controller, so when he's got to shift over to click something, he's got to do it like manually, but he finds the sensitivity too high, I guess. So he's got to.
Oh man. Anyway, so it is a bit stupid. They're bringing back, like, they brought back Thrawn and they brought back.
Yeah, that was in Rebels though.
But it's still canon though.
Oh yeah, but it wasn't in this
He's
game.
saying they didn't. Bring
Why
it
wasn't
back. He's
Thrawn
saying
in this
he's
game?
back.
And I'm wondering that more from not from a story point like perspective, but from a universe perspective. Like, what happened to Thrawn? Why wasn't he involved in all this?
I mean, he probably was, but he just wasn't in the game.
I just think there could have. I feel like a lot of these efforts, when people are rewriting canon, like, and just be like, we're just starting a new canon, it's like, I know the old Star Wars canon was a bit of a mess, but you could have sorted through it. There's got to be someone there who's a lore expert.
I think
It's called Wikipedia.
They did it for the everyman. They did it because not every single person interested in new Star Wars movies is going to go, oh, this scene is from page 476,000 of Wikipedia, where they refer to Thrawn as...
I agree, but, like, the old Star Wars, like, the Star Wars prequels didn't have that problem, and there was tons of stuff by then, right? But
they didn't acknowledge everything. I think
that's what I mean.
The idea is if Disney wanted to make a film... Nice work, Adam. If Disney wanted to make a film about what happened to, you know, Luke's kid, then they're like, excuse me, Luke has a kid already, and there's 18 books about him. So it's like, they gotta go, none of this happened, because if we do something, someone's gonna flip their shit about, like, well, if this didn't happen, then this couldn't happen, which this couldn't, so, like, they gotta be like,
I mean, there's something to that, too. But, I mean, imagine now the Elder Scrolls 6 is coming out. And they're like...
So it's 2022.
So it's 2022, and the Elder Scrolls 6 is finally coming out. Pete Hines plays it all the time.
That's great.
And it's great. There's no problems, obviously.
Bethesda's...
There's never been a bug in a Bethesda game.
Yep, adding to their bugless games.
Nice
work, Pete.
So, like, and they have this thing that, like, by the way, we're starting a brand new canon now. And this is so we got this new land, right? It's not Tamriel, it's Los Angeles. And you'd be like, what? Like, that's great and all, and I'm sure you're going to tell a wonderful story about, Argonians on Rodeo Drive. But, like, I would like you to do the old canon, you know what I mean? Like, is that a thing? He did a stacking.
He did.
I
feel like that's different. Go ahead, Rory.
This is unrelated, but, so you're probably going to regret saying that. But the stacking of... So what the hell was I doing? Oh, I know what I was doing. I was with my dad, and for whatever reason, he was like, I'm going to go get a haircut. And I was like, cool.
People do that.
Long hair.
So, like, I was, like, walking with him, right? He was like, yeah, I'm going to pop in here and get a haircut, because this is just one of those places you can just walk in and get a haircut.
Sure.
Right? And so I was like, yeah, cool. Like, I'll just want to, like, chill for a few minutes, right? So I just walk in, I'm sitting there. This is many years ago. So I'm about 15, 16.
And they're like,
right?
Rory, do work, even though you don't work here.
Yeah. So, like 15 or 16. So I'm in high school. This is just, 9 years ago or so. I'm 25 now. So,
old ass Rory over here.
I'm just sitting there, just chilling. And, like, the, like, lady who works at the, like, haircutting place was like, would you like some stackable crayons? I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, here, take some stackable crayons. And she gave me stackable crayons. And every time I see something stacked...
What do you mean stackable crayons?
It's like, so they were hollow on the bottom. So you could put
itself?
other crayons into the crayon. Like, why? But, like, I was just puzzled that any human being would offer, like, a 15-year-old stackable crayon.
Would you like some stackable crayons, sir? Or whatever, little boy? And you're like, bitch, I'm 15. Bitch, I'm 15. Of course I want stackable crayons.
Did you take them?
What?
Did you take them?
I did. Because at that point, it was like...
George Lucas. Hey, excuse me.
Oh, God!
If you're not getting a haircut, would you like to play with some of my stackable crayons, little boy?
But Adam, let me ask you a question.
So, I didn't really finish what I was going to say about Star Wars. That's only part of the problem with the game. Another part of the problem, because I've also played a significant part of the multiplayer, it is unbalanced, it is not fair, it is oftentimes not fun. Here's why, and so, the star cards, absolutely pay-to-win mentality. I can't explain the amount of time, because I don't use them.
You can't pay now. What happened? Or I guess people still have them.
Yeah, you can still unlock them, but I wasn't using them because I wanted to see how big of an advantage they give you.
Sure, yeah.
And it's massive. No! They give you an absolutely massive advantage. The amount of times I've been dogfighting with somebody in the Starfighter, and I can't kill them because they have like every armor up and health up, star card maxed out, and so I'll be laying into them. They turn around and they hit me like 3 times. I'm at max health, and they kill me instantly because they have star cards. And you can tell a character has star cards because when you die, it shows them
shows the cards they have equipped.
Yeah, and it's very unfair for somebody. And I can totally see if this game still had pay to win, mechanics.
Well, I mean, it has the remnants of it because it was pay to win initially. People bought a whole bunch of shit, maybe, and they still have it.
Yeah,
so it's like.
But not only, here's another reason why it's broken. The game still is a slog to unlock everything. Like, I'm slogging through the multiplayer trying to unlock Darth Vader, and the game doesn't have microtransactions, but it's still set up to have microtransactions, so it's still a slog to get anything. I didn't
find it too bad. I didn't find it as bad as people were saying.
No, but it's still, for a game that doesn't have microtransactions, they could, when they took out microtransactions, they could have, decreased the amount it cost to unlock the player.
Like, yeah, I mean... I don't know. I guess it really depends. Like, I've played in total 20, 30 games of multiplayer, and that really doesn't take a lot of time to do. I mean, that's, if you're going to play it, you're probably going to play a couple of games an evening. And I have most of the characters unlocked now. Yeah. So it's like, it wasn't, and I played the single player as well. I did a couple of challenges. I haven't done all of them. I've done just maybe 3 or 4. So it wasn't it wasn't like an absolute, I need to play this for 5 hours a night for 2 months to unlock Vader. It was, I played the game about the amount of time you'd expect to play it and got most of the content. Obviously now they've balanced it a couple of times since.
Sure.
But since it's come out, it hasn't really changed a whole lot, and I've gotten most of the content. So it's not as bad as fucking Quake we were playing earlier, it seems to be, in terms of how much grinding you need to do to unlock shit. And in a game like Star Wars, you have more than half of the characters unlocked from the start.
I think that the big problem for me when this Star Wars thing started was the fact that you could pay to unlock Darth Vader early.
No!
Who else saw that coming?
Hating yourself.
I think, but I don't think.
Fail.
I think it's at least slightly better now that everyone has to put in the same amount of time. Because, like, in League of Legends, you can't play ranked until you reach level 30. Which takes, like, 100 hours or something.
Yeah.
Like, it takes forever.
The issue isn't so much unlocking characters as it is what Adam said, is the cards.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, and here's another thing about it. The game is not balanced anyway in terms of the matches. There are some maps where if you're playing a certain side, you cannot win. In Hoth, I've played Hoth 6 times now. I have never seen the Empire win on Hoth. I have never seen the First Order win on Tacoma. Is that what it's called? Maz Kanata's planet. What's that one? Takanama. I've never seen the Empire win there except once, and I played that one 8 times.
Yeah, some of them...
I've never seen the Empire win in space in Endor. I've very rarely seen the Rebels win in Fondor.
That's a lot of the strike missions as well. I mean, pretty much any game type where one side needs to destroy something and another side needs to defend it, the side defending is probably going to win because they don't need to go anywhere. They can just sit in the corner.
But
and
they need to either balance that by giving the Empire way more, or giving the attackers way more guys to chew through, or by making the rebels spawn further back, so it takes them a while to get up, so that gives the Empire a chance to push up.
I mean, go ahead.
Can I ask a question about the weapons?
Yeah.
So I understand. I don't know much about the mechanics of this game. So you unlock characters, right?
Yeah. You unlock weapons by killing. So it's
unlock weapons so within a character. You can unlock further weapons.
Well, there's 4 classes. There's the assault, there's the heavy, there's the officer, and there's the specialist. By killing with their weapons,
you unlock further assault weapons if you're an assault guy.
Yeah. So if you get you can get 50 assault kills, you get the second assault weapon, and then you get.
You can also get their weapons in loot boxes.
So that's been something that's been implemented in games I liked, but I don't like it. I like that when everyone starts a game, we all have the same stuff, or at least equal potential to get stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I have a couple of the weapons unlocked, because I think I either got them in loot boxes or they just unlocked, I can't remember. But for the most part, they seem like they're relatively balanced.
So it doesn't feel like they're like...
It's not like you have the good gun now, it's you have the other gun. Like, the default weapon for the assault class, for both sides, is kind of a slow fire rate, but higher damage... kind of mid-range weapon.
Burst. But
the
then
secondary gun has a much faster fire rate, but way less damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think less range.
Probably less range.
So it's like,
and the third one is that green blaster. That's like an SMG. That is OP on some maps.
I have that one as well. I prefer that weapon just because it has a faster fire rate, and I feel like because I'm probably a bad shot, and more of those will hit the target than a slower fire rate weapon. But in terms of outright damage, I feel like I get killed more by the default gun than the gun that I use.
It's very important, in my opinion, that when you do something like increase your fire rate or something, you decrease your range. Like weapon balance with other weapons is a really overlooked element of video games in general, I think. Like, because there's so much other balance to worry about. Yeah. But that's, like, COD always had that problem. Where you'd have this gun that had a really good range, and it was also really stable and accurate. Yeah. And it's like, well, this is so superior to the other available weapons.
I think I've just broken this room here.
You might have. There's a lot of other factors to take into account, though, because I feel like the map determines what class is OP. Because if it's a very close quarters game, obviously higher DPS, but obviously slower fire rate guns are going to be less good.
Yeah.
But if you have a very open, big map like in Kashyyyk, where you can pretty well see from one end of the map to the other,
That's
it's like
that's
2
the best
kilometers
map, by the
long.
way. Kashyyyk,
It's really good, but a lot of the specialist classes who have that super OP sniper rifle, which is pretty well a one-hit kill, no matter where you shoot somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, you can just camp out in a tree and kill everybody on the map because it's massive.
I once got killed in that map, and I'm like, "Where's the bad guy?" And he was at the top of the or where's the enemy? He was at the world height, sniping. And I'm like, how'd you get there? So what I did was I got in a tri-fighter because I was the droids, and I just flew over and like flew into it.
Can you get out? I guess you can't get out of the ships, can you?
No, you can't. No, so I was just flying around them, but I ended up getting the most kills in that match. Here's another problem I have with the game. Those weapons make they're a lot of times they're unfair, and sometimes the heroes can. I would prefer some missions if people weren't able to play as the heroes, because I don't know how often this has happened where I've been doing really well.
Missions.
Yeah, I should just
Heroes
play
and
more strike missions, but like I don't know. Some of the heroes, like I can't, like I'll be defending a point where I'll be doing really good, and then Darth Maul with his double-ended lightsaber fucking nonsense will come in and kill 8 people in a row, and I'm like, all right.
The game has balancing problems. I think there's a bigger problem with it, and that's just I don't know, maybe people like the style of multiplayer, but I feel like Star Wars, it's kind of being presented in a tactical way. It's not played tactically at all. It promotes playing in a squad, but people disregard that entirely.
Yeah.
And it promotes that by giving you double XP if you play with your squad mates. And they're like, they show up as yellow icons on the map. It's very like, this is your squad, stay together. But nobody does that. As soon as everyone spawns, they're just like,
for some reason, people who play FPS, it's a special kind of ignorance of strategy. Because like, you get someone playing StarCraft, there's a right way and a wrong way to play StarCraft. Yeah. It's the same in an FPS, they just don't tell you. And
sometimes you get that. I've had some really awesome, fun games where your team works together in Battlefront, and it's like, this is really good. But because it's multiplayer, it's not all the time, and I would say it's not most of the time. Where you start a game, everybody scatters, they all die individually because they have no support, and they like can't get any better. The other team has a zillion kills, and you're doing shit because everyone just runs everywhere.
And maybe how easy it is to entertain Adam. It doesn't like Quake.
I mean, I'm just waiting for the clock to run out here in this one, but I get that, but
play Battlefront.
But I should play Battlefront. At least half decent at that. But I can't do that 3 weeks. Like
not with a controller, you can't. Not on PC.
But here's the problem I have with Battlefront. Mm-hmm. I didn't know there was a Death Star map until like the 7th or 8th day I had the game. I'm like, okay, I hope we get Kashyyyk. And it was like Death Star. I'm like, Death Star.
There's a lot of maps.
But what's the problem?
You don't get to pick which map it is. So I've gotten Naboo like 50 times, and I've gotten the Death Star once. Yeah. Once.
That's the biggest problem with the game is the multiplayer. Like in the previous,
which is pretty big for a multiplayer game.
You could do Starfighter Assault or whatever, Starfighter mode, and the Galactic Assault sort of on foot running around game type. You could do those solo. You could fight bots just by yourself, or you could do a co-op, or I think up to four people. In this game, you can do solo Galactic Assault stuff. It's just arcade mode where you can change the difficulty, you can change how many people there are in the game, like all the settings. Yeah. But you can only do on foot maps, and you can only do like 4 or 5 maps, and they're not the full maps. They're like chunks of those maps. Okay, yeah. So like you can do Yavin, but it's like only a small part of the Yavin map. And it's like, it's not a different map, it's just a small part of it. Same with like Tatooine. You can do Tatooine solo, but again, only a small part.
Wait, so you're saying
I fucked up.
You're saying the size varies on the number of players?
The size varies on the game type. If you're playing offline, like solo mode, then you only get a small part of the actual map, and then of that, you only get a small selection of the maps in the game.
So, okay, this is interesting.
If I want to play on the Death Star map in solo, I can't do that. If I want to like fly an A-wing, I can't do that in solo. Like you have to be on the ground. Bizarre. It's weird. It's weird that there's such limited content to solo.
So in terms of maps, one of the things that I really liked about the way Resistance implemented this is depending upon how many players you have, you would get a different version of the map. Like they had map sizes for 8, 16, and 40 players.
That's likely the case because some of these maps are really fucking big, and if
Like,
you were
like
just
Hoth
solo,
is massive.
But that's the interesting thing to me is that, like, let's say, like, you were one of the things I find map types often in modern FPS. They're either the close quarters maps or the long range maps. But in Resistance, if your map had long range sections and it had close range buildings, and I wish more games had that variety within their maps instead of just this is the sniping map.
Yeah, right.
Every map should be the sniping map, and every map should be the SMG map because like you say, you're good with the SMG, right? So like you should have a chance to try to implement your game plan, while maybe Adam, who's good with a sniper rifle or something, should have a chance to try to implement his game plan.
The game does that.
This is like the 8th version of this game I played. Fix the fucking control.
Second version. But anyway, I think Battlefront does that because the multiplayer stuff is 40 players. The solo stuff is like 8v8, and it's like and 7 AI against 8 AI. So it's much smaller game. The Galactic Assault game type is cool because I guess it's kind of like the Walker Assault was in the previous game, where it's like there's like a map and like the whole environment, but then there's like the active map zone which kind of moves.
Oh, okay.
So
That's what you're saying. Yeah.
The objective at the beginning of the game is like blow up the MTT or whatever it is at Naboo. So like there's a section of the Naboo map where the Republic needs to fight the Separatists.
Oh, well.
And it's like you're going up, there's like this, you got to fight the tank thing, and then you're outside. And then as the tank gets to the objective, if it's destroyed, then like the Republic wins. If it's not destroyed, it moves to the second objective, where it kind of moves you into a new map area. It's all on the same map, but it's like it's cool how it progresses through the objectives. Like the Kashyyyk map, the first stage is totally a sniping area. But if I think it's like there's two, I don't know what you call them. What do you call those massive tank things in Kashyyyk?
They're called Juggernauts or Turbo Tanks.
If the Juggernauts get destroyed, then it moves to an interior map where it's kind of close quarters again.
Oh, okay.
So it's like it's very fluid in how it changes the game type. It's stupid because you can't do that in solo. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
But in the multiplayer, it definitely goes through the paces of like, now this is a close quarters map, and then it might move into a sniping map. I very much like that, and I'm glad they did it, because they alluded to that stuff with the DLC for the first game, with the Death Star stuff, because the Death Star, there was like the first stage of it was the Fighter Squadron map, where you would play on the A-Wings and X-Wings, or the TIE Fighters. And then, depending on who won that scenario, it would move to the next stage, where you're actually like on foot, on the ground, like steal a Death Star plans or whatever it was. And so that was cool. I'm glad they evolved on that, but instead of making it different game types, like the Resistance or the Rebellion won this game, now game 2, it's like all the same game,
Sure,
and the problem with that is like the Empire will win game 1 because it's Hoth, and the Empire just trounces over everybody with the ATSTs. And you try to take those slagging hangers, and you can't do it because every time you kill the rebels, they respawn like immediately, run up with their guns, or Yoda comes out of nowhere and kills you with his lightsaber. Also, where's Obi-Wan Kenobi in this game?
Yeah.
He's not in that game at all.
DLC is
I get out this.
Sandy, do you remember Battlefield Bad Company 2?
Yeah, do I ever?
That game had the best maps of any game I've ever played.
They were really good.
Yeah.
Like
long
like you were
range.
saying, like moving through a map as you do the objectives. That's something Battlefield's done with its rush mode for a few.
But it's the same guys.
Exactly.
Dice are good.
Probably where they're getting it.
I don't know.
It is weird.
This game is a mess.
But to be fair, Battlefield has also it hasn't done the Battlefront thing, obviously, but I think me and Sandy both will play Battlefield back in the day.
Yeah.
Played 1942, Vietnam, Battlefield 2. Maybe you played 2142. I don't know.
Not really.
Not really me either. And Aaron, you also played them?
Oh yeah, I played the shit out of 1942.
Those games, in my opinion, like I was saying this to Sandy earlier, they don't exist anymore. We don't have games like that anymore.
Same guys though.
Same guys. It's even though, like I say, I think Battlefield has been good at least up to Bad Company 2.
Slightly cockeyed.
Looking through a tripod at a tripod.
I think I miss that, and I wish DICE made games like that still.
Yeah.
Me and Sandy played Hardline. We had some fun with it.
Played a lot of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played a lot of.
Did you platinum that?
I didn't. There's a couple stupid.
Like online?
Didn't Visceral do a lot of that one as well?
Fuck.
Like Visceral is in Visceral, like Dead Space.
Yeah, like I think.
Oh man.
I think they helped DICE with some of the multiplayer elements of that.
Oh, they have a pretty well.
Right,
they don't have a thankless job. They had thankless jobs.
Where's the
Yeah.
mallet?
But I mean, this like I'm only basing this on the first game. It's not like this
and
game.
You
is,
mean the first new Battlefront?
Yeah, it's
clear,
totally subject to rebalancing because when the first game came out, in the Hoth map, particularly, even in the beta, the Empire always won. It was like impossible to not stop. It was impossible to stop the walkers from blowing up the.
In the first Battlefront.
In the first Battlefront.
Why is it still that
the first
way?
Well, what I'm saying is they went back and rebalanced it.
And then released a new game where it was unbalanced again.
No. Well, I mean, they did beta testing as well, but there's a lot more components to this one. There's like the class system, and then they all have different weapons. It's not like in the first game they didn't have classes. It was just pick your gun, and you can unlock them with your level up bullshit. Yeah. Way more grinding than this game. But it was this one's subject to more balancing, I think, because of all the different dynamics. Like there's the star cards now that modify your powers. There's more heroes.
There's more factors.
There's more factors to balancing it because there's multi-stage of these things. So I feel like they did some balancing that's evident from the beta, but they'll probably continue to do more.
You know what? Battlefront games in the future will be a great candidate for automated testing using AI. It's going to be the next big thing.
Rory's
and you're going to hire... What they should do, they should hire an AI programmer to write some automated tests. It's going to speed up the development process and save them a lot of money on human testers because human testers get drunk and they break up with their girlfriends and they come in hungover and they make mistakes at work, and AI do not.
AI testers, don't forget your birthday, and they don't break up with you. Not like people. Sharon.
So just letting you know, EA, that's gonna be you're gonna wanna invest some money in that in the future.
Adam's dating milfs. Anyway.
Yeah, I made a Hadarl or whatever this is.
Where does the electricity come from?
Hadarl. I don't know. Whatever is wireless technology. Anyway, we're gonna end.
Oh, thank Christ!
Amidst all this chaos, amidst EA's abysmal fucking week, CD Projekt Red decided to emerge from the ether for some reason and say that Cyberpunk 2077 is going to be single player only and will not have any microtransactions at all.
And it's not for some reason. It's definitely directly related to EA doing this. There's no...
Well, yeah, I know it's directly related.
That's exactly what happened.
They're just like... It's just weird that they're like, oh, hey, guys, by the way, our game's not shit.
This was CD Projekt Red's... You remember when they introduced like the PS4 and they spent the whole conference talking about how it fixed all the things people didn't like about the Xbox? This is CD Projekt Red's version of that.
Yeah. They're a good company, though. I mean,
CD Projekt Red is...
Yeah.
I mean, I know they
get
don't...
a lot of praise, but...
I know they don't release a lot of games, like, in comparison to some of, like, larger companies. That was an interesting phase shift. But let's face it, I mean... In terms of, like, quality games, I don't know if there's any company that's better than CD Projekt Red.
Yeah, especially now. It's like, it's hard to think of a AAA company that doesn't have a scummy business model.
I mean, like, even now, like, Bethesda is starting to get a little
Bethesda,
funky.
EA, Activision, even Rockstar now. Like, Rockstar doesn't really have a choice anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And, like, but still,
I mean, who else is there? Who else makes games?
Good God, like, The Witcher 3, that's in terms of, like, hours you get, for how much you get for your money, it keeps ridiculous. Yeah, what is that?
He's trying to break the game, I think.
He's just trying to fuck with it.
He's getting somebody's Verschwickads. Anyway, I mean, I watched some of CD Projekt Red's artists on Twitch, and they're all very nice people.
I want to just mention real quick, since we're clearing up, that StarCraft 2 is now free to play. The chances of you playing StarCraft 2, if you haven't already...
Free?
No, it's actually free.
Is it free, though?
Yes. It's... What the hell? So, like, if you haven't played StarCraft 2 already, you're probably not going to play it. Because if you're the kind of person that likes real-time strategy games, you would play StarCraft 2. But I will say, if you're looking to get into real-time strategy games, StarCraft is like a classic.
Command & Conquer Red Alert 2.
So you can now play it for free. It's a huge game. You don't have to get all crazy like esports about it.
Why not?
You could just play.
8 clicks a second or whatever.
Well, a lot of people find it intimidating. well, I mean, it is intimidating.
Is it?
We don't yet have AI that
Work on
can
the
beat,
controls.
like, the StarCraft, like,
Seriously.
Grandmasters. Like, we're not there yet.
Oh,
Like,
we're not?
they're still able to beat the best StarCraft AI, which is very
Oh.
impressive. So, for point of reference, like, you know, we all heard about AlphaGo,
Just
right?
make
Google's-
Alpha Ghost, more like.
yeah, Adam.
Yeah, oh yeah, Adam, yeah.
Just make AI that cheat, and then you can't beat it. There you go, problem solved.
The like AlphaGo beat the world champion at Go, right? Like last year, was it last year? I think it was
Sure.
last year, right? And Go, you know the board game Go, right?
No.
Really?
Go?
Yeah, Go.
I know, sorry.
It's like chess. It's kind of like chess. It's like it's
Probably.
ancient board game.
It might be the first board game.
That may or may not be.
I
true.
don't know.
I don't know either. I know it's old. I know it's super
Go
old.
board game. Is that gonna get like 1986 or something?
Yeah, you're gonna get like some like old like
be
kids game or something like that.
The oldest board game is Operation, played by
Oh.
the ancient Chinese
Oh,
and the
looks like-
Egyptians.
Looks like Othello.
Oh, Othello. Okay, yeah. They also have AI that beat the world champion at Othello. I wanna say.
Years active. Prior to Zhou Dynasty, 1046 to 256 BC.
So it's old.
Yeah, I guess so.
And like so it was a real big accomplishment when they felt like in the 90s they had a world champion checker
Never
AI. Checkers AI, and so last year they had Go beat the world champion at Go, which is very impressive. But still, we're not there with StarCraft.
I just went to like
too
CS:GO
complicated.
in my head.
Yeah.
Oh god, CS:GO. What? It's such a weird game.
Needs iron sights. Anyway, that'll probably do it for this week, I guess.
Yeah. We're back next week. Oh my god. I'll be here next week because next week is my last week of classes.
How is it?
And yeah, so I'll be here.
Steam Awards are ongoing.
Relaxing. Steam
This
Awards
is
are
the
ongoing.
fall sale.
Yeah, the fall sale. Lots of stuff is on sale. I myself picked up Stardew Valley right before the sale started because
cool.
I'm a fucking idiot.
Right before this. Have you played it?
No, not yet.
You should get a refund and buy it again.
Oh, I don't want to do that.
Why not?
I feel like I'm being a pain in the ass.
You are a pain in the ass, Rory. You're already a pain in the ass.
Why would that ever? When has that ever stopped you?
I don't know.
Only not with my friends, only with multinational
did-
conglomerates.
I did that with. Well, I mean, give the guy the money, I suppose. He's one guy. But when Hyper Light Drifter came out with Humble Bundle, I had just bought it the previous week. I'm like, refund. I haven't played it yet, and I'll just redeem my humble monthly fee. Jesus Christ, Adam.
I'm very excited to play Stardew Valley though.
That
Me
keeps
and
steaming every once in a while.
me and
I
a
don't know
friend
if
got
that's
it so we could play it in the office together, and it should be a good time.
Doesn't have multiplayer yet.
Oh, we won't be. We'll just be playing in the same
Oh,
room.
okay.
We got Borderlands for playing multiplayer together.
Well, it's getting multiplayer next year,
That's exciting.
so.
The freaking mess.
A lot of work gets done all the time in my office.
And apparently, in Stardew Valley multiplayer, your characters will be able to independently do stuff. You're not kind of like just a side character that pops in every once in a while. Like you can romance.
right, yeah,
You can
yeah.
romance characters and stuff.
Right, yeah. That's cool. Yeah, that is cool. All right, we'll be back next week. I'm not sure what will have happened. If we'll have seen
Well,
any
when are
new
the Game
movies or
Awards?
whatever.
Will the Game Awards have happened?
The Game Awards will have happened, I
Will
think.
they?
So we can talk about that. Adam's
the
really
7th
excited
or
in
something?
particular about the Game Awards, and
Yeah.
we'll get to get his expert take on award
Let's
shows.
just figure out when the
Yeah, let's
Game
figure
Awards
out what
are
it
this
is,
year
just so we know.
because December 7th. So
No.
they will not have happened.
So are they doing the?
Oh my God, fuck off!
Did they
Adam.
make that award that they gave to Hideo Kojima just for Hideo Kojima that one time?
It said update phone. I said no, and it turned off.
For something.
There we go. All right. Yeah. So
Yeah.
no, that'll be.
And no new movies come out between now and then, so we probably won't actually have seen any new movies.
so we'll have nothing to talk about.
But shortly thereafter, we're seeing Star Wars on the 15th.
Yep.
What time?
10:30, I think.
10:30 p.m.
PM.
All right.
I would hope so. Fuck 10 a.m. on like premiere night.
I'll be seeing it twice.
I probably will too.
Only twice?
I'll be seeing it twice on the first day. I'm going at 9:30 a.m. and then with you guys at 10:30 p.m.
Rory with all the spoilers. Ray turns evil and then kills Kylo, and it's real stupid.
And then she's beaten by the AI champion of lightsaber combat. General Grievous, yeah, that one.
I thought it was just a
General
remake
Grievous.
of Attack of the Clones.
General Grievous coming back. I thought it was a remake of Empire. Where Ray's on Hoth and cuts a thing in half, and then he's like, yeah,
Tauntaun.
go to Dagobah. And it's like, why? Luke was already there. And Luke's like, go to Dagobah and find Yoda's burial ground or something. Anyway.
So I may have hurt the frame rate slightly.
Oh, probably. Anyway,
It's slowing down.
before Adam crashes the computer and deletes this entire video, we'll see you guys next time.
Hey.
Bye.
Bye. More Fireflies!